year this fall. I can't even believe I'm saying that. We're feeling a little nostalgic lately and wanted to revisit some of the events perhaps that we visited long ago. Well, 19 years ago, here on the Detroit River, we made it out to check out the HEBDA Cup, an annual regatta held here featuring a ton of rowing teams, and we got just a feel and a taste for what it was like. So here we are again, 19 years later, to see, hey, how's the HEBDA Cup doing today? The HEBDA Cup is put on by the Wyandotte Boat Club, and this is the 58th year of the regatta.
Way back when this got started, the HEBDA brothers, they wanted to kind of improve some of the competition for the local kids. It started back out when we had two high schools here, Mount Carmel High School and Roosevelt High School, and so it gave them some more competition before we would move on to some of the bigger races. And in the early days, we didn't have a whole lot of regattas that we could go to or compete at.
This year, 9 schools competing, 7 out of the boat club, and 2 from outside downriver, including Saline and Parkersburg, who traveled from West Virginia to compete. Fred Meckelon was the regatta chairman 19 years ago. He still is today. So what's changed since 2003?
We've seen an explosion in girls rowing. I think in a lot of the teams, the females outnumber the males in regards to the number of participants. The equipment keeps getting lighter and better, stronger in regards to fiberglass and carbon fiber and that. And then just the proliferation of all the teams. There's just more and more teams that started. 19 years ago, we didn't have Southgate, we didn't have Crestwood High School rowing. So every year it seems like the state picks up an additional team, either in the Grand Rapids area, Detroit area, or the Ann Arbor area.
The popularity of women in rowing has actually skyrocketed nationwide over the past 20 years. A study from a few years ago showed rowing has more than 5,600 women rowers at the collegiate level in Division I. That's a greater number than both softball and basketball.
This is only my second year on the team, and it's already grown a lot from last year. We had 0 seniors last year. We have 4 this year, and we're going to have a few next year, so it's getting bigger.
My mom actually rowed on one of the first few Parkersburg crew teams that we had, and so she got into the sport. And whenever my sister and I were growing up, she would always tell us all these stories about crew. And then my older sister actually did it for a few years, and then when I came up, I've just been doing it all 5 years because we also start in 8th grade.
I actually didn't start rowing until college. I did other sports in high school because we didn't have rowing. It wasn't a thing, so I was just a walk-on at Grand Valley and rowed club for 4 years and had a lot of opportunities, got to travel nationally and internationally, and I pretty much started coaching right after graduation.
Over the summer I did the Learn to Row program. So it was lots of fun, and I really enjoy it. So I'm now trying to start a program in Milford and around my area.
Girls are able to get scholarships. We have people, from the club rowing up at Eastern Michigan, Michigan State, all over. So I think as a sport, it's a unique sport. A lot of play. Obviously, you have to have water to have it, but it's certainly the health of the sport, I think, is like everything else, going to continue to grow.
It's people that keep the sport moving. Tons of volunteers that keep this cup afloat.
It's just been a tradition. We have families, we have generations, 3 generations that have rowed in the regatta, and it just continues on. And evident by the support, I have about 50 to 60 volunteers that come out every year, from working on the water to the finish line to just making sure the boats are, protected and safe. That it's just a huge community event that goes on here.
I just love to support the sport of rowing. It's been wonderful for my family. Both of my daughters rowed high school, and one of my daughters rowed college. I still row with the old men's crew on Saturday mornings. It's just a wonderful activity. There's nothing like working out, being on the water.
There is room in this sport for everyone.
Rowing is a sport that you don't have to start back in junior high or earlier like a hockey or tennis or stuff like that where you played it. 9th grade you come out as a novice and you're equal. So everybody can try a new activity, and it's an opportunity for girls and guys to really try that as a new sport where it's, like I said, one of the few sports that you don't have to been doing it your entire life to be good at it.
Give it a shot. It doesn't hurt to try. The sport's not for everyone. I enjoy it. It's more like you have to have like the mental state to like not quit, because it's all a mental thing. I mean, it's physically for sure, but it's more of a mental game than anything else.
I thought of joining the crew team since I never did the sports, and I actually lost 50 pounds doing the sports itself, so I was pretty happy with that outcome.
We've all became friends, even though there's a lot of people you wouldn't expect to be together. There are people here who without this sport I would have never talked to my whole high school career, and it's really great, honestly.
Nearly 6 decades strong, the HEBDA Cup rolls on. And if you're still on the fence about giving the sport a shot, just remember these words from a much younger me. They have a saying here at the old Wyandotte Boat Club: pain is temporary, victory is forever. I'm Lorne Plant for State Champs.